Honestly, I feel it's a little bit sad that most people don't know what dopamine management is. Since I've stopped drinking caffeine, I really realized how important it is to be aware of where you get your dopamine from, because that's how you train yourself. We train our animals with giving them food, aka dopamine, to do what we want, but we don't train ourselves. A lot of the stuff people are doing is just because they get dopamine from it. It's doing drugs, it's having sex actually, it's eating sugar, it's drinking caffeine, smoking. All of those are releasing dopamine in our brain. And back in the days when we were in Stone Age, the only way to get dopamine was hunting food or reproducing ourselves. That's why our brain thinks dopamine is a good thing and will always do what is needed to get dopamine. That's why we're getting addicted to dopamine. However, things changed a little bit and not all dopamine is good anymore. There's a lot of bad dopamine, as I said. Sugar, cocaine, drugs, alcohol, video games, and all that stuff. Luckily, we human beings are a rational species that has the power of their mind to fight their own instincts that might be counterproductive for themselves. That's where dopamine management comes into play. Dopamine management isn't anything else than realizing where you get your dopamine from and then stop what is not good for you and keep doing what is good for you. When you play video games all day, do drugs every weekend, every day, or eat sugar every day, then you get a lot of dopamine from these things. And that's what your body will keep doing. However, if you don't drink sugar, let's say ideal super motivated guy doesn't drink sugar, doesn't drink caffeine, doesn't eat sugar, doesn't do drugs, doesn't drink alcohol. The only way for him to get dopamine is doing tasks, learning something, feeling improvement, working out, being in the sun, meeting friends. Then that's what he's gonna do. So I'm not telling you to stop all the bad things and just do the good things. That would be superb for your progress. However, it's not very practical. It's very, very tough. Dopamine is very, very tough to get away from, and it's very, very tough to get rid of habits that you do for dopamine. So if we want to improve our own mental health, and if we want to get more motivation in our life for those things that are actually of value for us, those things that improve our lives in the future. Because sugar, sure, it gives me dopamine, but it doesn't improve my life in the future. It's just dopamine and we're good. And if I'm gonna keep doing it, I'm gonna be fat. If I'm gonna working out regularly, I'm gonna be more healthy, I'm gonna live longer, I will feel better. If I'm gonna do my tasks, I will probably reach more financial stability and people will trust in me and I will have more opportunities in the future. So as a little challenge, I recommend everyone, just look at your days and write down all the positive dopamine triggers that you have at the moment and all the negative dopamine triggers at the moment. And then something, I'm not sure if that's ethical correct, but think in your friend circle of those people that don't achieve a lot and see what they are doing. Are those the dudes that are playing video games all the time, that are doing drugs all the time, and they don't have anything on the positive side? And then look at those people that have amounted the most and write it down for them. And I can promise you that the one that has amounted more has a way better dopamine management. However, you're probably only interested in improving your own dopamine management. So write down that list and then just think of one extra thing you might not be doing or you would like to do more often. For example, if you just work out once a week and you would like to work out 3 times a week. And this is so powerful. This is super important. You take one of the negatives you say, okay, I'm gonna stop it. Let's say I did it with caffeine. I said, okay, I'm gonna stop drinking caffeine. But it's not easy. Stopping caffeine is horror. You will get headaches. You will be super annoyed all the time. You will be angry with your friends. So you need some replacement. And whatever you have on the positive side, whatever you want to improve on, do that instead. And you just like a straight replacement. And just one thing, you get rid of one bad thing and replace it with a good thing. And you will see that after 2 weeks, you don't want to do the bad thing anymore. And you only want to do the good thing. Because your brain didn't get any dopamine from the bad thing, it only got it from the good thing. So if I'm replacing drinking caffeine with doing tasks, and I'm stick with it, I use my rational mind to do it. After 2 weeks, my mind thinks, oh, doing my task is the only way to get dopamine, and it won't even remember that caffeine is a dopamine deliverer for me. And after you've done it, and I would probably, there's a movement in the internet on Reddit, the X effect. They say you have to do a habit for 50 days, and that's probably about right. If you're doing one thing for 50 days, and you're super strict with it for 50 days, you stop the bad thing and you do the good thing, then you can think of the second thing. The second issue, the second bad habit you have. Let's say, first 50 days you stop drinking caffeine. Yeah, that's my go-to example because that's what I did. Next 50 days you stop doing fucking sugar, which is super hard. It could also be drinking alcohol, it could be social media, it could be video games, it could be texting, it could be tons of things. There's so many dopamine triggers in our life, and there's so much forcing of our day-to-day behavior that dopamine management is, in my opinion, the ultimate tool to 10x your productivity, to 10x the good moments in your life. Instead of wasting your time on social media, you have more time to do your task and you actually have more time to meet your friends. I'm not saying you should stop bad dopamine triggers like meeting friends, falling in love, or whatever. It's not just about work, it's about things of value, it's about improving your life, it's about using your rational mind to train yourself like you would train your dog, like you would be your own coach. And whenever you and when you realize what is giving you the dopamine, you do those things that are good for you. And trust me, that will help you a lot.